If you find yourself wanting to make a fully sequined dress either for a special occasion or for no occasion at all, then grab some pliers and a few sequins, and I'll show you how I made this one. Armed with gold 9mm jump rings and countless 40mm sequins, I set out designing the dress by laying out the general shape with the sequins. As far as I can tell, there are really only two choices when it comes to placing the sequins next to one another, side by side to make a square, or slightly offset to make a diamond. I chose the offset option because it made the triangle shape at the top a bit more cohesive. When I finally arrived at the general concept that I liked for the front of the dress, I started attaching the sequins together. These sequins only came with 2 holes punched in them, so I had to use a 1/16 inch hole punch to punch the other 2. This was the most time-consuming part of this project, though I wouldn't describe any part of this project as fast, because actually attaching them together with the rings also took a while. If you're curious, this is how far exactly 100 jump rings get you. Alright, I finished the front of the dress last night, so what I'm going to do now is lay out all the pieces for the back of the dress, put those together, and then I'll attach the front and back panels and see how the dress fits. For the back of the dress, I started by making a rectangle that was about the same width as the front. At this point, I was making the dress to the tune of a column shape where the width would remain the same all the way down, just with the back being slightly lower. However, as you'll see later on, this concept was slightly modified. To actually attach the sequins, and to avoid a sequin slipping off of a ring, I closed each jump ring to where it overlapped itself and squished down the ends to minimize the chance of it catching on fabric. I found it was easiest to attach the sequins diagonally 1 line at a time, and then attach the lines together. Before I could finish the back panel, I started running out of jump rings, so I took off 2 rows of sequins from the front to use those jump rings for the back. Unfortunately, this was still not enough, so I went to Hobby Lobby to get more. And then, double unfortunately, they did not restock in the 4 days since I had bought everything they had. So I got a pack of 6mm rings to see if I could make it work. Spoiler alert, the 6mm rings were incredibly unhelpful, and my dress did not fit. So I bit the bullet and made the hour drive to the next closest Hobby Lobby. I should finally have enough connectors. If 700 total is not enough, then I'm scrapping everything and just making a tank top. But I think it will be, hopefully. I also finally found my measuring tape, so I now know what the width of the dress needs to be. And so I'm gonna increase a little bit there, but if it's just like a straight line all the way down, then the top is gonna look super loose and baggy and weird. So I'm gonna see if I can find a way to maybe like taper it as it goes up. So I'm gonna adjust for that. Then I'll add some little decorative bits, the straps, and then hopefully we will have a dress. As I just mentioned, finding my measuring tape helped me realize that I am in fact not built like a rectangle as I had originally planned for. So, to redesign the dress where it gets larger in width as it goes down, I started by removing a couple of rows from the top of the back of the dress. This will make the dress essentially backless. Next, I added several columns of width because, as it turns out, measuring with your hands is not incredibly accurate and does not account for the fact that I exist in a 3D space. Finally, I added several diagonal rows to the front of the dress. This accomplished making the front of the dress, and consequently the entire dress, longer. Also, these diagonal rows will wrap around the dress and give that tapering effect that I need to compensate for the bottom needing a larger circumference. This is what the final dress looks like when it's laid flat. For reference, I'm about 5'6", and I'll put my hip measurement in the description just in case you're curious about how this would fit you. For the final steps, I attached the dress at the other side and made a strap. The entire weight of the dress will be held on this, so I doubled the sequins and added really small purple ones for support here, though I'm not really sure if this will actually help anything. And finally, I picked up a nude slip to go under the dress. If your goal is to look like a gold disco ball from the 1920s, I'd say this design accomplishes that. Just keep in mind that sitting is probably impossible in this thing. Let me know if you also turned yourself into a disco ball.